You can have a policy that is against the basic human rights. However, we know for the long run, people will continue to appreciate what we have built in this country. And that's what's sustaining us. There's a hope. And when the dark clouds come over to us, there will be silver lining come out from that when we all come together.
This is Hourglass, the podcast for United Way of King County in Seattle. Coming up, a conversation with Ginger Kwan of Open Doors for Multicultural Families, a Kent-based organization that supports culturally and linguistically diverse people with disabilities and their families. United Way proudly supports Open Doors for Multicultural Families, and in this episode, we'll discuss how the organization is supporting families amid the ever-changing political climate. We'll also hear from United Way President and CEO Gordon McHenry Jr. about our work during these challenging times, and we'll spotlight our free tax preparation campaign. I'm your host, Joe Burris. Thanks for tuning in. According to NBC News, more than 60 executive orders were signed by the White House in the first 10 days of the current presidential term. None of the previous 6 presidents signed that many orders within the first 100 days of office. The current pronouncements have covered a wide range of topics, including immigration, diversity, government program funding, and citizenship. And some stand to jeopardize the rights and liberties of those who historically have been victims of systemic oppression, injustice, and inequality. Some of the pronouncements have been challenged in court, and some have been rescinded, but they keep coming. Many communities of color and immigrant communities last year expressed concerns that this might happen. The 2024 election cycle fanned the flames of polarization and forecasted policies that might prove detrimental to those communities. Many awaited 2025 with fear and anxiety. Now, some of those worst fears have been realized. Even foreigners who have obtained status to legally work or attend school in the U.S. have been frightened by executive orders targeting undocumented immigrants and subsequent accounts of people being apprehended and deported. A directive that called for a freeze of federal grants and loans was blocked by a judge and ultimately rescinded. But nonprofit organizations who receive such funding to serve their communities are now wondering whether they'll still be able to rely on those dollars. Entire communities who often struggle to have their needs met are on edge, wondering who will support and advocate for them amid this turbulent political climate. Fortunately, in King County, there are organizations like Open Doors for Multicultural Families, a Kent-based nonprofit that supports culturally and linguistically diverse people with disabilities and their families. Open Doors director Ginger Kwan launched the organization in 2009 with a group of parents and community leaders who sought better access to services for people with disabilities. Open Doors offers programs from birth to adulthood and advocates for systems change. Last year, Open Doors served more than 2,400 clients with a staff that speaks at least 10 languages. Today, amid the current slew of executive orders that could directly impact some of the people it serves, Open Doors has been deliberate about standing up for its communities and ensuring families feel seen, heard, and supported. On January 22nd, 2 days after the first executive order was issued, Open Doors addressed communities it serves on a Facebook post, reaffirming its commitment to equity, inclusion, and belonging. On January 24th, Open Doors launched its 2025 legislative agenda, a community-driven platform advocating for systemic change to improve the lives of people with intellectual and developmental disabilities and their families. The legislative agenda includes eliminating the special education enrollment cap for grades K through 12, abolishing child restraint and isolation practices, and improving language access in education. In addition, Open Doors is seeking state capital funds for its Multicultural Village, a Kent-based residential community with more than 230 affordable units, including 47 reserved for individuals with disabilities. Open Doors says it will also continue its work as part of the Racial Equity Coalition, a group of 14 organizations supported by United Way of King County to create communities of belonging for youth of color. Racial Equity Coalition members field after-school programs that celebrate youth's cultural identities and equip them with the tools to stay engaged in school. United Way is proud to support Open Doors for Multicultural Families and applauds its efforts to serve and advocate for people with disabilities from all backgrounds, particularly in today's political landscape. Hourglass sat down with its founder, Ginger Kwan, for a conversation about the organization's work and the ways it is currently addressing its community's needs. Here's what Ginger had to say.
Our program event and activities are remaining the same as what we have been doing. For example, we have early learning programs supporting parents to learn how to play with their children. We have youth programs that provide our youth, elementary school youth, learn how to make friendships. So we have Friendship Circle, and we have Pathway to Graduation programs supporting at-risk youth to ensure that they get the support they needed to graduate from school and also have opportunity to go to work in the future. And for parents, we have always provide them with system navigation that is one-on-one match with their culture and the language they speak with a staff who can provide those services. And besides that, we also do parent trainings on special education or senior care programs and also the parent support group, making sure that parents can learn from other parents because of their challenges of raising a child who has different abilities. And these are generally programming that we are doing besides these individual and also programming. We also ensure that when people have the assistive technology need because their body function differently, we provide them with the opportunity to learn by using a device. It could be a voice output device, what we call the AAC device, augmentative and alternative devices to add their voices. Or we also have other devices that can help a person to simply, increase their function ability. And give you an example, what does AAC means or what a AT assistive technology is. Mm-hmm. Like I'm wearing the glasses. So I can see better, right? So that is considered, the glasses is considered as a piece of assistive technology, for example. So this is just give you some ideas for people who don't know what assistive technology or an augmentative alternative devices that can produce your sound and what would that look like. So that really help us to communicate with others and also give the people who have disability to continue to improve their daily activity and they can become more independent to do the things they want to do. Wheelchair is another example. So these are all the services we provide at Open Doors. And we try not to interrupt these services because of current political climate that has impacted us. Because if we continue to do these programs, that will calm, the clients and it will calm down, make them feel comfortable and they can find an anchor. They don't feel like they are lost or suddenly everything changed. So we continue to commit ourselves to provide our general program services, and that's needed. Yeah.
Okay. And speaking of political climate, how have you, your staff, and your board responded to the needs of families that you serve? Since this political climate has been so apparent.
It's a very interesting thing. I have to say that feels like a whirlwind blowing us. I sometimes feel like it's a tornado as well. It just like you got cut into this whirlwind, just keep circling. And one day you have this news, tomorrow something different.
Right.
And reflecting back only 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, we feel like it's a whole year. And because Open Doors, we have a few programs are funded by federal government directly.
Okay.
And those programs, we are doing reimbursement. We have to do the work first before we can go to invoice and request the funding to pay for the activities we already have done.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember the first day when we heard about in the morning, 9 o'clock, by the end of 2 o'clock Pacific time, which is 5 o'clock Eastern time, the program will be shut down.
Mm-hmm.
And we were panicking because where are we going to get the money to pay for the staff, right? And our leadership team immediately, at 9 o'clock, we called a huddle. All of us came together. A group of us started to strategize what can we do to deal with these sudden changes that we have never experienced before. And we had to scramble every leadership team members, go into their team, inform the team what's going on, and we have to figure out how much money we actually spent and in that month before we can go about to, request for the funding, right? So there's a lot of communication. There's a lot of urgent actions. We are all coming together because one thing we need to communicate with our team and also with our community is that we are committing ourselves, continue to provide quality service to families no matter what. And we stand for our value. We know people need that kind of support. It's not because of their status of the immigration. It is not because of their different ability. We are human beings first. People deserve a support in order for them to better care for their children who have disabilities. And these are very important issues that we need to stand up. If we let our team know we are standing next to them, we support them, and they can rely on us to give them a clear instruction how they can better support families, then they will feel there is a sense of peace. And at the same time, when they serve the family, they can talk to the families more freely and don't feel like there is a barrier or there is a no situation.
Sure.
It's really we need to anchor down for them. And the leadership, we came immediately to come up with different policies that we need to address. So we really just have a meeting day after day because there are so many different information came out. Today is one thing, tomorrow is another. And that definitely impact us, not only for our program level, we want to stabilize it, but I think as mentally, there's a huge challenges. One thing that we did is to ensure that our team actually, they have opportunity to access mental health services through our health insurance. So they don't feel like they are struggling, trying to figure out when they are impacted by the families, because like after a week or two, we also heard from some of the staff that, some of the family they know were deported, for example. And those impact to our community needs a strong leadership, needs a clear direction to support them. Yeah.
Great. What kind of questions are you most often to get from families? You talk about, families needing that anchor, needing that support. What are questions you're getting from parents? What are questions you're getting from children?
Yeah. The people who we serve, the individual who have the developmental disability, they have different capacity. And so very often, besides the youth program, we were able to gather their feedback, but mostly I would say from parents particularly.
Okay.
And some of the parents actually says that hey, I'm not documented. How is this going to impact my children who have disability right now? Can I still apply for the funding, or can I still apply for different services? If I apply for that, what is going to happen to me? And so there is a lot of uncertainty. I would say there is you can feel the stress. It's very stressful for these families. And they were talking about, am my children going to lose the benefits now? And one of the things, one of our team member allowed us to share his story. And I think this story is very powerful to let us know, because of this because of the new executive order that really impact a lot of people who come from other countries, even though they might have legal status, but they are still afraid.
Right.
Very afraid. And one of the examples is that we have one staff, and he has a brother who needs 24 hours care. And it has been his senior caregiver, his senior parents caring for his brother. And until they were not able to do that, they placed his brother into a group home for somebody to care for them. And this group home owner is an immigrant, and he has a legal status. However, because of the changes, they got afraid.
Right.
And they decided to leave right away.
Even though they had legal status.
Exactly. And they were so afraid. So they called our staff, the teammate, and he picked up the phone, and he was told that in 3 hours, you need to come to pick up your brother. And his brother has epilepsy, has other severe disabilities that impact him functionally, needs very extensive service and care, right? And so he has to quit his job right on the spot and called our deputy director to say, I couldn't do this. So this is just one example. What people are asking is all about what is going to happen to me, what is going to happen to my children. Can we survive? And can we continue to get the service we needed? We have a youth is looking forward to their future to go to college or to go to work. And now they are asking, can I do that now? Or would that happen? What would that happen to my child? Because, there are some news talking about the education department there, and talking about how they're going to reduce the services, and that will impact nonprofit organizations. And today they're going to talk about cutting this funding and cutting the other funding and ask people to resign. And if we have program services rely on the federal government, we need to communicate with. Suddenly, we couldn't get those answers very likely because they don't know what's going to happen either. Yeah, so there's just so much impact, and question is really uncertainty that created the anxiety and fear, so much fear.
And how are you keeping communities informed as all these changes are coming about?
Well, the changes happen so frequent, right? It's not so easy. However, I really feel like our team continue to set up very clear instruction, and we create a folder, for example, in our team folder that everybody can access to. We put in the information regarding to how do you respond to families when they have encountered some of the law enforcement challenges or some other questions they have. So we have a resources list there for legal service agencies so they can easily access to. We also come together to inform our team to make sure that they know our new policy. For example, we want to protect not only our staff, but also the families we are serving, right? And the good way to do that is to through different changes of how we practice. For example, if we are going to have a home visit, we want to make sure that the families are aware of what to look for, and we want to make sure the appointment is set before we have that kind of one-on-one visit. Mm-hmm. Or we also want to make sure that if we are doing the group meetings, we can change it to online so people can freely attend it, right? So those are different ways we make changes.
And then lastly, Ginger, in what ways do you see communities coming together at this time? And what would you like people to know more about when it comes to Open Doors work and your mission?
Yeah, Open Doors has been operating in the past 16 years. And we have built a very strong relationship and trust with the families, individuals who have developmental disabilities. And because developmental disabilities or intellectual disability is a lifelong impact. It's not like you take a medication, take a pill, then tomorrow you are healed, right? So it's a lifelong issue. And because it's a lifelong issue, many families has been with us for the past 16 years, literally. Yeah, because prior to Open Doors was formed in 2009, I personally already have been serving the community for more than a decade. Mm-hmm. So with that kind of relationship with many community members who have loved ones with developmental disabilities, we have built a very trusting relationship, and they will always come to us. And so what I heard from our teammates is the community really are trusting us, and they want to communicate. And our team continue to communicate with clients to find out how they are doing and let them know we are here for them. Good. Yeah. So they can feel a peace of mind and they still can call us, and they don't have to worry about we won't respond to them because of the current situation. It could be challenging, try to get some resources. But they know we are here. And so this kind of relationship, we are able to continue to respond to them and changing what we are doing to meet their needs as well and protect them, make sure they are safe, make sure that they still can be, thriving in this community, because we believe that when we all come together, we are stronger, right? It's not one person. We know that if we're gonna raise a child, it's taking the whole village, and we know the community are with us. We are grateful for the partners in our community. Continue to come together. We are human beings again. I just want to make sure that you can have a policy that is against the basic of the human rights. However, we know for the long run, people will continue to appreciate what we have built in this country. And that's what's sustaining us. There's a hope. And help us to understand when the dark clouds come over to us, there will be silver lining come out from that when we all come together.
Ginger Kwan, Open Doors, Multicultural Families, thank you so much.
You are welcome.
For more information about Open Doors for Multicultural Families, log on to opendoorswa.org. And now a word from United Way of King County President and CEO Gordon McHenry, Jr.
In these increasingly challenging times, it's really important that folks who are part of the United Way community know that we are 100% committed to continuing to do the work we have been doing, the work that is rooted in equity, the work that is aspirational, so that we have a region where everyone thrives. It's important for you to know that we see you, we hear you. We will continue to serve and support if you allow us that privilege. It's important to know that we are going to increase our proximity to the communities we're privileged to serve. We are going to be a courageous advocate for policies that uplift folks, and we're going to be a courageous advocate against policies and practices that serve to oppress or harm. If you give us the ability to be your partner, we will not let you down. We will stay strong, and we're going to make good progress. Thank you.
It's tax time again, and United Way of King County is offering free tax services to individuals who make less than $80,000 a year, or less than $96,000 for non-single filers. Funded by United Way, the IRS, and the City of Seattle, the free tax preparation campaign runs until Sunday, April 19th. Services are available at more than a dozen locations across King County, including El Centro de la Raza and West Seattle Community Resource Center in Seattle, Hope Link in Shoreline, South Center Mall in Tukwila, and the Public Health Center in Kent. Virtual service is also available through our online tax site. United Way tax preparation specialists will help clients understand their tax situations and take advantage of refunds like the Earned Income Credit, the Child Tax Credit, and the Working Families Tax Credit. Last year, our free tax campaign served more than 12,000 people and leveraged more than $16 million in tax refunds. And we look forward to preparing your taxes this year. For more information, log on to uwkc.org/need-help/tax-help. At United Way of King County, we are working side by side with communities to build an equitable future for everyone. Hourglass United Way is a podcast that highlights how we and our partners spend time making a difference in our communities. Our work is made possible by the generous donations from people like you. Please send comments and suggestions about our podcast to hourglassunitedway@gmail.com. To learn more about our work or to support United Way, log on to uwkc.org. I'm your host, Joe Burris. Thanks for listening. Until next time.